So welcome back guys to another video, and today I'm going to be answering some questions sent from you guys. Earlier this month I made a Q&A and I'm like, hey, send in your questions and I'll answer them for a future video. And here we are right now. Now I've got some really good questions sent to me, so let's get right into it. First off was from Jim, aka Kid Shuriken, a good friend of mine. He asked, what are some games you'd like to see get the mini arcade treatment that haven't already? And I think he's referring to, you know, the Arcade 1-Up platform. Hammering Harry would definitely be a game that I would love to have a mini arcade of. It's one of my favorite platformer slash sort of beat 'em ups by Irem. If you have not played that game, definitely look up the footage. It's a freaking blast. Next one's from Ryan. He says, any chance you'd like to do a Street Fighter 2 tournament on that mini arcade cabinet and stream it? I travel there from the frozen north to participate. You know, that's actually not a bad idea. The only problem is I don't know a whole lot of people locally that would want to participate in a Street Fighter 2 tournament, but that would be fun. Like, maybe I could do that with like my girlfriend and my nephew or something like that. You know, we just play some Street Fighter 2 and live stream it. Who knows? BioPhoenix, he says, what's a game you wish got made into an anime, or an anime that got made into a game, or even that maybe only a game that one game but still have it played differently? Okay, first off, I would love to see a full-on anime of Star Fox. Now, we got kind of a taste of it with a mini like OVA that Nintendo did, and that was actually really good when they were releasing Star Fox Zero. But I would have to say I really want a good Vampire Hunter D game. We got a Vampire Hunter D game on the PlayStation 1 by Jalico, and it was just a mess. That was an instant buyer's regret. I got that game and it was just freaking horrible. Gaming Guy, yeah. The one Twitter question was mine, because I posted this on Twitter and no one replied but Gaming Guy. If you were stranded on an island, what game console would you have with you, provided you have your own source of electricity? You know, I would probably say the Super Nintendo. Super Nintendo, I think, has a really good diverse selection of games, and plus there's a lot of RPGs on the Super Nintendo I still haven't beaten yet. So, you know, like Breath of Fire, I never beat that. I would play that on a desert island, stranded, whatever. Kent says, first off, great channel, brother. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much, Kent. Second, do you have one certain game that you play and beat at least once a year, kind of a comfort game when you just want to play and beat something familiar? I do. Every Thanksgiving I play Super Mario Bros. 3 and I beat it. As a matter of fact, one time I was out of town for Thanksgiving and I actually had my Game Boy Advance. I had Super Mario Bros. Advance, had the Mario 3 version, and I played that and beat it. I mean, when I was out of town because of Hurricane Florence, the first game I started playing that kind of gave me that comfort during those hectic times was Super Mario Bros. 3 on the Switch, right when they released the NES games. Okay, Matt, he's got 3 questions. He says, don't know if you answered this already, but what are your top 3 favorite mecha animes if you watch mecha anime? He says, do you play mecha games? If so, what are your top 3 favorites? And number 3 is Alucard from Castlevania or Alucard from Hellsing. Top 3 favorite mecha animes? Off the top of my head, I would say I love the Macross series. I also like Gundam as well. I've always wanted to dive more into the mech animes. I love the art style, but I haven't watched a whole lot of them. But, I mean, at least once a year I watch Do You Remember Love, which is one of my favorite animes from the Macross series. And I grew up watching Robotech and, you know, Voltron and stuff like that. I don't know if would you count Voltron as a mecha anime? I mean, it is an anime, but would you count it? It says, do you play mech games? Yes, I do. Would you count Xenoblade Chronicles as a mech? That's a good question. But, you know, I enjoy games like Zone of Enders, a couple of Gundam games I've played over the years, Armored Core, you know, stuff like that. Lots of fun. And Alucard from Castlevania or Hellsing. I'd say Castlevania. You know me, man. I love Castlevania. Plus, I haven't watched Hellsing. I have never watched that anime. I've seen enough about it. I know there's like a better version. I need to get on that. I hear nothing but good things. Alright, the Retro Collectors. He's like, if you were to design one game that melted many gameplay styles, like Metroidvania together, which gameplay styles would you choose? You know what? Let's go crazy. Let's have a Let's have a rhythm racing game. An archaic racing game based off rhythm controls. That would be kind of cool. I think that's already been done. I was sitting there thinking about this question. I'm like, what are some things I would mix together? I would love to have a Street Fighter JRPG with like the fighting style of Legend of Legaia. If you guys remember that, had almost like combo inputs. You could do that for fighting in Street Fighter. That'd be really awesome. Wiggins, he asks, are you excited for Judgment / Judge Eyes? What do you think of detective elements added in it? And the second one is something I'd like to see someone's opinion on. I know a lot of people consider Xenoblade Chronicles X a mech game. But do you have any opinion on ground combat and exploration? First off, yes, I'm excited for Judge Eyes. I'm trying to get my girlfriend into the Yakuza series. I've been telling her about it, and she's getting really interested. And I think this would be a really good game for her and I to play together and kind of start fresh with. It's in the Yakuza universe, but it's very different. I think that would be freaking awesome. Okay, and also Xenoblade Chronicles X, I love the exploration. I mean, I would spend hours just listening to the music and exploring that game. And the combat. It's my favorite out of the Xenoblade Chronicles games. That's my favorite, Xenoblade Chronicles X. Alright, so Ty Lord, he says, what game from any generation would you like to see remade or remastered? And who would play Xander Skullion in a Xander Skullion movie? The only actor I can think of that would play me would be like Liev Schreiber, because I've cosplayed as Sabretooth and everyone always said I looked like Sabretooth when I had the shorter hair and chops. And you know, I would love to see a remake or remaster of Guardian Legend from the NES. That would be kind of sweet. Let's see. This is, what are your thoughts on Sony's new censorship policy? I tried to look this up, and I saw like a game that was coming out that was getting heavily censored, and Japan's trying to, you know, cater more to the global side of censoring. In a nutshell, I'm not a big fan of censorship when it comes to story. I don't want to, you know, get a different story from someone else because of censorship. But censorship doesn't bother me to a degree if it's just like aesthetics. Like a good analogy would be like Xenoblade Chronicles X. You know, it was different in the States, like they changed costumes and stuff, and I remember people made a big deal about that. I really didn't care, but if they changed the story and changed the overall atmosphere or endings or beginnings, or I get a different product from someone else, I'm not a big fan of that. Say, Down Phoenix, do you see your, he's like, did not see your tweet. Okay, any chance we can see some live stream from you on YouTube? Could be gameplay related or a live podcast or even like the Q&A. I do want to do more live streams. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be upgrading my computer because I've had my computer since 2014 and it's on its last leg. And I want to do more live streams. I want to do some live hangouts on YouTube, maybe some live podcasts. That would be a lot of fun, definitely. DC Verdaya, hey friend, how's it going? He says, if you could change what era you started gaming, what era would you start in? And bonus question, how much did you love High Score Girl? I loved High Score Girl. Matter of fact, me and my girlfriend watched that, and we were both really pissed that there was such a cliffhanger to it. I was so upset. But, I don't really think I would change the era I grew up. I grew up in the 90s, and I think that's one of my favorite eras of gaming, so I don't think I'd change that. If I could, maybe I would want to be older in 90s era gaming. Like, maybe not so much like a 33-year-old like I am now, but maybe if I was in my late teens or something, that'd be cool, because I was really young. Billy asks, if you could play a game for the very first time, retaining no memories of it previously and playing it fresh, what game would it be and why? That's a really good question. It would probably be Castlevania Symphony of the Night, because that was just such a special game in my life. I would love to play that for the first time with new eyes, or maybe even like Yakuza 0. I know that's a more modern game, but when I played that the first time, it's definitely a gaming memory, definitely. And my last question is from Sadman1471. He says, which company so far has been the best and worst to review games for, i.e. short review deadlines? Now, I don't really want to answer that because I don't want to blacklist myself. It's kind of unprofessional to throw companies under the bus in that regard. But There are some companies that give you a little bit more leeway. It really does depend on the game as well. You know, I know when I got, you know, RPGs, they give it to you a month early, so you have some time to actually play it. And if it's a more indie title that's, you know, very short, they'll give you a couple days. It all depends. The way I do my reviews, I do it by relevance. If it's a game that I know is going to get a lot of traction for a small channel like me, that will be my first priority, and then I go to the other games. So I mean, that's kind of the way that goes. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for sending in the questions. I cannot thank you guys enough. This, like I said, I love doing these kind of videos and answering questions. And if you guys have any more questions, leave a comment below. If you missed out on the initial video announcement or on social media and there's something that you're wondering, leave a comment. Love to hear from you. Anyway, guys, as always, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and as always, happy gaming.